Duncan. Guarded by Alexander. And one!
How can we get Xavier to the next level? And that's all we cared about every single night.
The Xavier Musketeers have enjoyed a history-making season.
Getting to the Elite Eight is an incredible moment.
I think we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Raymond. Yes! B.J. Raymond. Second free ball of the afternoon, and what do you know? Xavier making a run.
The mindset was just to never take a day off, always play hard. And it was shown on CJ and Drew Lavender's shoes when they had nope on their shoes. Nope meaning on their shoes means nope, you can't take a break right now. You know, guys didn't care about let me go out and get mine, and you know, it's my night tonight. It was more about, you know, what's best for Xavier.
All for one and one for all was the perfect motto for this team, which rode unselfish play, great senior leadership, and withering defense into the greatest season-long run in Xavier's basketball history. The 2007-2008 men's basketball team won a school record 30 games, rose to the top 10 in the national polls, and advanced to the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament for the second time in 5 years. In the process, Xavier erased any doubts about this program ranking among the very best in all of college basketball.
To me, it starts with a team willing to play defense to the best of their ability. If you really think about that, if you have that in place, it's really hard to be selfish on offense.
But at the very beginning of the season, Coach Sean Miller had a gap in his defense. To fill it, he turned to one of the team's leading offensive players and scorers, Stanley Burrell, and asked him to take on a new role.
Once I realized that it did have such a huge impact on our team and was helping us win so many games, I was more than willing to take on that role and help our team in any way. And it goes back to, you know, everybody having that commitment to the team and that togetherness and that sacrifice and whatever it takes to help the team win. And, you know, that was my role.
What he did on the defensive end of the court is something that will have a legacy attached to him from now and in many years to come as we recruit new players into our program, of using him, I think, really as the ultimate example of unselfishness.
Xavier teams have traditionally been led by seniors, and this year was certainly no exception. Josh Duncan, Stanley Burrell, and Drew Lavender all had tremendous seasons. Each stepped up and provided great leadership when it was needed most.
During the month of February in this season and through March, there wasn't a better forward playing college basketball than Josh Duncan. He made big plays, learned to be more aggressive, closer to the basket, became a true leader. Drew Lavender, obviously from the moment he touched the ground here at Xavier, he became something that's much needed in any team, and that is just a pure quarterback, a coach on the floor, someone who makes the game easier for his teammate. Stanley Burrell, he became not only a better player all around, not just a scorer, but became an incredible teammate, and I think it's fairly obvious he was our team's heart and soul this year.
The Musketeers began the season by playing possibly the toughest non-conference schedule in school history. They played and defeated teams such as Indiana, Kent State, Creighton, Kansas State, Virginia, and Auburn, and nearly defeated a Tennessee team that later rose to a #1 national ranking.
You learn more about your team when you challenge them greatly, and just watching our team beat Kent State and come back with unbelievable purpose against a great Indiana team at the time, and be able to win that championship on a neutral court, I thought was a telling sign for me that this team was really special, and we had it in us throughout the course of the season.
After all, this week's AP poll ranks the Muskies the 9th best team in the country, the highest such ranking in the Sean Miller era.
Throughout the season, the national media lavished unprecedented praise and attention on the team and program. Drew Lavender even became the first Xavier player to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. With another A-10 championship under its belt, Xavier geared up for its 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance and was rewarded for a season well played with a #3 seed for only the 2nd time in school history.
When I saw that we were going to play Georgia in the first game, it was an uncomfortable feeling, because part of what you earn as a #3 seed is, I think, some first game jitters from your opponent, a team maybe that hasn't been there and done it, that hasn't been on that big stage, maybe as much as you have.
It was kind of like, wow, we were just cheering for them, hoping they could get in, and now we have to go against them.
Xavier was down by 9 at the half of that first round game, but the Musketeers were not done playing basketball.
At halftime, after Coach did his little screaming session, of course, yelling at us, and we knew that he didn't have to do that. We knew there was no tomorrow. And one thing about this team that's great is that when our back is against the wall, we fight. And we fought. And if we stopped believing at any point in that time, we wouldn't have made that run that we made. And I think it just showed that the close games that we were in that early in the year with St. Louis and St. Joe's and Dayton and things like that, it paid off at that point.
Xavier fought well enough to advance to the second round and to date with the Purdue Boilermakers. A year earlier, Xavier's season had ended in the second round of the NCAA tournament with an excruciating overtime loss to Ohio State. The memory of that defeat motivated this team all season long and made moving on to the Sweet 16 even more satisfying.
It was an incredible feeling, I think, for everyone involved. It reflected a year's worth of work to be back at that and break through. And at that moment, to me, that was one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had as a coach, because